title of my talk, as you heard, is The Art of Augmentation. But before I begin, I want to show you two pictures from my past. First picture is a picture of the Macintosh division. We're standing in front of the Macintosh division building, 1984 or so. I'm in the upper left corner. You really can't see me. If I had had this to do over again, I would have stood in the front of this picture, but who knew? The person in the front of this picture that's kneeling is Steve Jobs, and he is, of course, the most important person in this picture. But the great thing about this picture is that it's historical because this is the only known instance of Steve Jobs ever getting on his knees for anything. So my past is Apple. I started some software companies. I became a venture capitalist. Today, I'm chief evangelist of a company called Canva. It does online graphics design. I'm also Mercedes-Benz brand ambassador, and I'm a podcaster. The name of my podcast is Remarkable People. But today's topic is the art of augmentation. Let's get everybody on the same page. Let's start with the definition. The definition of augmentation is to make an organization bigger, stronger, and better. And oh my God, if there was a person who wanted to make an organization bigger, stronger, and better, it was Steve Jobs. So I'm using the lessons that I learned in Apple, as a venture capitalist, as chief evangelist of Canva, startup in Sydney, Australia. I don't know if I learned anything about marketing from Mercedes-Benz, but you know, somebody's got to do that job. So all these things, and podcasting, because I interview really remarkable people, so I've learned a lot of remarkable things from the remarkable people. So that's the definition of augmentation, and now I'm going to use the top 10 format to tell you the art of augmentation. And I always use the top 10 format so that you can track progress through my speech, because you know I have 10 key points. I think the first thing you need to do to perfect the art of augmentation in your organization is to understand the scope of what you're doing. And I call this running the right race. I don't think that building a better, faster, stronger company is something that happens instantly. It's not a 9-second 100-yard dash or 100-meter dash. It's not Usain Bolt. This is a marathon. It takes a lot of work. It takes a significant amount of time. So get your perspective right. You know, you're running a marathon. Or, perhaps more accurately, in terms of athletic metaphors, it's really a decathlon because you need multiple skills. It's not just running. You need other skills. It's not just recruiting or training or educating or developing or programming or bugging or debugging. You know, it's a lot of different skills. And so think of it as a decathlon, but at least it's certainly a marathon. It is not a sprint. Run the right race. The second important factor in the art of augmentation is to show that you care. We are in a very challenging time because of the pandemic and violence around the world. And so we're asking people to do things that they have never done before. The work at home, trying to balance your children, your family, and do this at home while you're working. So you need to show that you care. And I'll give you some examples. So Google has a work for home stipend of about $1,300. So you submit your expenses. You had to buy a desk. You had to buy a chair. And Google utterly, completely trusts you. They don't come to your house to see if you're really using the desk or chair. So they're showing that they care, that they want you properly outfitted to work at home. Another idea is maybe you tell your employees, well, we're going to upgrade your internet service. You may have something that's really slow, but we're going to take you to the next level so you can expense faster internet because we're doing 5 Zoom meetings a day, and if you have slow connection, it's really a bummer. So we're going to help you with that. And Another way you could show you care is helping them with food preparation. So in the United States, give your employees Instacart coupons or DoorDash or Grubhub, for actual finished meals to come to your house. But you're showing that you care, that you understand, that you empathize. That's the second thing you should do. The third step. The third step is to accelerate and emphasize and foster and support learning. This is a time when things are a little slower, when you have cut down commute time, that, wow, let's learn the new skills. Let's learn skills that we didn't have before, that we wanted to have. Oh, this is the time to do that kind of stuff, because when the pandemic ends, and it will end, we will get a vaccine, and the economy comes back, and stuff starts happening again. We're going to be so busy again, knock on wood. So let's get that skill set together. Learn how to use Zoom. Write the documentation you always wished you'd written. Train people. Get all that kind of stuff done. And don't just wait for the miracle to occur, but prepare yourself so that when things turn around, you're ready to rock and roll. And to do that, you need to accelerate learning. Think of Globant as an example. The Globant University. That's training people and getting people ready for the next level and when things turn around. So, create your own university. Train your employees. Upgrade their skills. And in fact, that also ties into the previous recommendation, because if you're willing to invest in training and education, you are also, guess what? Showing that you care. The fourth thing, now more than ever, you need to be transparent with your employees, because everybody is a little leery. Everybody is running scared. Everybody doesn't know what's going to happen. And maybe in a boom time when, everybody thinks every other company is doing well, you might want to not exactly, as Americans say, hang your dirty laundry in front of everybody. But now, when everybody's having layoffs and slowdowns and furloughs, now you can be transparent. The reason why transparency works now is because people want to know. And I think the most damage you could do to a person and to your organization is when people are guessing what's happening. And I kind of always take the high road, and I assume that employees want to make the company successful. And if your employees want to make the company successful, they need to know what the problems are, because you're going to need your employees to fix them. So now is the time. Be more transparent than you ever have been. Let's face it, we're trying to build better, stronger, faster, more innovative, more augmented organizations. So we're asking people to do more. And I think it's only fair that if you're asking people to do more, you should give more. And Mark Cuban is the one who said, now is the time to use stock options. Be generous with your stock options, because, that shows that because stock options enable employees to benefit from the upside. Also, in a financial sense, stock options don't affect your cash reserves. So this is a currency that you should use right now. Share the wealth. Next thing, celebrate your victories. When everything was going great, maybe you only celebrated the major victories, or maybe there were so many victories you couldn't celebrate them all. But now, probably there are fewer victories. So every success, every sale, everything, you want to have a positive and upbeat kind of atmosphere. Better, faster, stronger, more augmented. let's see some success. Let's see where, you're taking off, that you're defying gravity, that you're showing that even in an economic downturn, your organization is succeeding. I live in Santa Cruz, and one of my friends owns a skateboard shop because everybody in Santa Cruz skateboards except me. I'm too old. And so the other day I saw him and I said, so, how is business? And now he's standing in front of his store, and the store is only open from 11 to 5. It used to be open from 9 to 7. So he's cut out about 4 hours a day. There's a table and they control how many people are in the store. And so it's not like crowds can rush in. It's very controlled. You have to wait to get in, okay? So I think, all these things are bad factors. And he says to me, Guy, we are open shorter hours, but we are selling more than ever. And, that's the kind of victory you need to tell all your employees. Listen, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Things are going bad. The economy's down. You read the big numbers, but we are doing better. We're open shorter hours. We're selling more. Maybe there's a psychological reason for that, which is if you're waiting to get into a store, once you get in the store, I think you pretty much cross the mental chasm that if you waited to get in the store and you're risking your life to go into the store, you are going to buy something. You're not in there just for the hell of it. So, celebrate your victories. Keep the morale up. Build that augmented company bigger, stronger, faster, and more positive. Number 7. Number 7 is, let's face it, many of our offices look like this picture, right? Beautiful but empty. And so this recommendation is about forcing serendipity. And by that I mean, we didn't have to force serendipity before, because when we all came to some place, we could physically meet in the elevator, we could physically meet in the lobby, we could physically bump into each other in the cafeteria, all that kind of stuff could happen. But now, with everybody working remotely, we have to figure out ways to force serendipity. How do we get people interacting beyond the, daily or weekly Zoom staff meeting? My son just graduated from the 8th grade, and it is a school tradition that there is a graduation dinner. And so all the families would come for a graduation dinner. Now, we didn't do that this year because that would be illegal. And so what we did is every family got a gift certificate to order dinner, and then everybody participated in a dinner with a little ceremony via Zoom. So that, I would say, serendipitously, we would have bumped into the other parents and all that at this analog dinner. But now with this Zoom dinner, we're trying to, quote, force serendipity. So figure out ways to force serendipity with breakout groups, with special interest groups, with, I don't really know, but there's got to be ways to force employees to interact with each other so that they develop personal relationships. Like, put your thinking cap on and figure out how to do that, and then let me know what you come up with, because I'd love to tell people how to do this. I know the concept is right. I can't tell you I know exactly how to do it. Number 8. Number 8 is my suggestion that you need to focus on the results. Just focus on what matters. Are people doing their job? Are your engineers doing the designs? Are they writing enough code? Are your marketing people getting the message out? Are your salespeople somehow making calls? It doesn't matter if they're holding a baby in their lap while they're doing this. Just focus on results. Take the high road. The high road means I trust you as an employee. I'm not monitoring what your computer is doing per day. I'm not staring over your shoulder. I trust you. I'm focusing on the results. Hallelujah. you're delivering the results. You're also trying to homeschool your kids. You're working at your house where you don't have all the resources that you might have at the office. Take the high road. Focus on results. Trust your people. Number 9 is, if you want to build an augmented organization, you're going to have to master onboarding. So how do you bring a new employee on board? I think many companies mastered this pre-pandemic, that they had, these orientations, they had where you get your badge, you get your equipment, you're walked around the facility, you do all that kind of stuff, right? But none of that's happening now. So if you want to build a bigger, faster, stronger organization, you're going to need new blood. You're going to need new people. You're going to need new talent. And so you have to master onboarding. I think this should be a very specific project for your HR department. Like, get out of the box and think about, how do we bring people on board? Do we, arrange for them to have Zoom chats with the CEO? All the new employees who start once a week, the CEO makes a digital appearance. I mean, something like that. But you're going to have to master this. Sending them that work from home stipend, and getting them their equipment properly configured. It's going to be a very valuable skill. Now, I'm in America, so we are particularly blowing it with the pandemic. But you may be in a country where you have this control. But I'm taking the worst case, which is probably America. Onboarding is a whole new digital skill now, and it has to be mastered if you want to truly augment your organization. Number 10 is a rather generic recommendation that, I've given you 9 of my thoughts about how to augment an organization. The 10th one is kind of a catch-all, which is, you just have to do whatever it takes. This is a picture of Richard Branson, so let me tell you the story. He and I were making a speech at the same conference in Russia. He walks into the speaker ready room and he says to me, "Guy, do you fly on Virgin?" I said, "Richard, I'm United Airlines. Global service is the highest level of United Airlines. I can't risk my United Airlines global status by flying other airlines." And at that moment, this is what he did. He got down on his knees and he started polishing my shoes with his jacket. That's the moment I started flying on Virgin America. So I use this example of Sir Richard Branson, knight, billionaire, owns his own island, kite surfs with Barack Obama. He got down on his knees, so he got one more customer for Virgin. Sometimes you just have to do whatever it takes. Number 11 is my little bonus to my friends. So number 11 is to get high and to the right. This is not a recommendation to take drugs or to be a Republican. This is about how you occupy the space in your customers' minds. So I want you to look at this graph. The vertical axis is the degree of uniqueness or differentiation. The horizontal axis is the value that you present. Now, the magic corner is the upper right-hand corner. There you have a unique product or service, and it's valuable. That's where the action is. That's where meaning is made. That's where you dent the universe. That's where you change the world. That's where there's margin. That's where there's money. That's where everything good is. You could have a valuable service that's not unique. There you'll always have to compete on price. You could have a unique service that's not valuable. There you are just stupid. You own a market that doesn't exist. You could have a service that is not valuable and not unique. That's the real bummer. That's if you create a product that nobody wants, and venture capitalists have funded other companies to do the same stupid thing. So in all things, whether it's developing a product, developing a service, thinking of yourself as an employee, thinking of yourself as a spouse. The goal is to be unique and valuable. If you are unique and valuable as a spouse, your spouse will love you and never leave you and cherish you. If you are unique and valuable as an employee, you will make progress as an employee. You get promoted, you get more stock options, you get more responsibility. Life will be good. If you have a product that is unique and valuable, for example, when the iPod first came out, think about it. It was the only way you could buy music from 6 companies inexpensively, 99 cents each, on a device that a mere human could operate because of the click wheel. So it was a unique and valuable proposition. Make your product, make your service, make your company, make yourself unique and valuable, and everything will work out. You will be an augmented company, an augmented product, an augmented service, and an augmented person. Life will be good. Okay, so this is the last slide in this presentation. That's a cover photo of my podcast. Basically, if you don't recognize her, that's Jane Goodall, and she's acting like a chimp looking for lice in my hair. So, how many people can say that Jane Goodall looked for lice in their hair? So that's the cover. My podcast is called Remarkable People. If you open up your camera, don't take a picture, just open up your camera and put it on that QR code. It will lead you to where you can subscribe to my podcast. So my podcast is called Remarkable People. It is a collection of interviews with remarkable people such as Jane Goodall, Margaret Atwood, Steve Wozniak, Steve Wolfram, Andrew Yang, Roy Yamaguchi, Christy Yamaguchi, figure skater. I have just the most remarkable guest list. And the whole point of the Remarkable People podcast is to help you become a little more remarkable by listening to every episode. So this is my parting message to you. I hope that you will listen to my podcast because it'll augment your remarkableness. So that's the art of augmentation. I hope that it enables you to create a great company, a great product, a great service, to be a great person, to dent the universe, change the world, and every other metaphor you can possibly think of. So I'm Guy Kawasaki. I'm coming to you from Santa Cruz, California. Wherever you are in the world, I wish you great health and great safety. Take care, and I hope to someday meet you in person. All the best to you.